Welcome to the fourth grade tutor session for Progym. Wanted to take a little bit of time and just speak directly to the fourth grade parents because I know that this is new for you. Some of you have not done this with any children yet. These are your first chances, first opportunities, and so just wanted to make sure that you felt comfortable seeing as we are getting ready to begin our very first Progym, the Pitcher and the Crow. You will find that throughout the year, all of our Progyms follow the same format. So the exercises that are in this first Progym will be ones that are repeated with various stories or fables throughout the year with only slight changes. So once you kind of master the format and how to approach instructing your child at home throughout this first Progym, you'll find that the next one is so much easier, and then you just get into a rhythm and a routine that works, and the students know, and they know what to anticipate, they can predict what's coming, and it just makes it nice and easy, hopefully, for you. But the first thing I wanted to just make sure that we all understood is that when you print your Progym from the Canvas calendar, and they will always be posted on the calendar for the week that they're due or the week before they're due. And the very first activity that the students need to do is just read the story, retell it to somebody at home orally, and then outline it. And our students will probably need a little bit of refreshers with the outlining piece. We've been practicing it a lot with prior assignments and even in class, but seeing as this is the first time that they will have to do it actually to turn in and have a rubric and a grade at the end, it would be wise to walk them through and just make sure that they're getting the key and important pieces from the story. Then they will move on to exercise 2, and this is where it starts to get fun. This is the thesaurus work, and when they get to rearrange existing sentences. So you'll see I've tried to make it easy for you to see. The circled words are actually the bold print words, and those are the words that the kids are going to have to find synonyms. They're going to have to actually use the thesaurus. It does not matter if you teach them to use a book for your thesaurus, or whether or not you teach them within a Word document how to go up and click on highlight the word and click thesaurus. Whatever works for your family is fine. But when it comes to thesaurus work, probably the biggest hang up for fourth graders is that they sometimes choose words that are definitely a synonym of the bold print word, but they don't always fit the context of the story, or they sound strange and kind of inappropriate for the sentence itself. So that's where some tutoring, some teaching and guiding is going to come in for you, helping kind of coach them through and determining, okay, what is an appropriate synonym? Which one not only fits, with the actual definition of the word, but one that fits the context of the story and makes sense and is an improvement. And after the thesaurus work, I've underlined, there will be, in every story, there will be certain sentences or certain phrases within the story that are underlined. And the student's job in that, and it will say in exercise 2, they just need to rearrange them or reword them. So if they want to use synonyms again, they can, but there's a little bit more freedom in that if they choose to just kind of take certain words out, move them to the end of the sentence, flip things around, add a few descriptive adjectives or adverbs that would help enhance the sentence, that's an option too. So during that time, they're just kind of playing. They're playing with words, they're playing with sentences, and trying to use what's already there and just add to it. Then by the time they get to exercise 3, this is where the use of description within rhetoric is emphasized. So my Greek and my Latin stinks compared to my kids, but energia and descriptio. Basically the words in Greek and Latin that represent or mean description within rhetoric. And you'll find that this is kind of, for some of you, new, because oftentimes there will be a word at the bottom that looks like Greek or Latin. That's because it is. And it represents a certain descriptive element that the students are supposed to focus on. So it might say chronographia, which means that they have to find a season or a time within the story. They have to go back, and if the author has not given a description of the setting or the time, their job as a writer is to add and insert descriptive sentences or phrases that would describe the setting or the time. It might also be, another example would be geographia. There might be a point when they're told to go back within the context of the story and describe the way the earth looked as a character walked through the woods or walked over a mountain. They might need to describe water, hydrographia. They might have to describe, a water or a waterfall. So there will be, those will be given to you within the assignment. But the goal is to kind of train our students to look specifically for different elements of description that they can apply. We're not so concerned that they memorize these Greek and Latin words, although some of them will. They'll just naturally kind of tuck those in there. But the point is we want them learning to be attentive to areas that are common to describe. So things, nouns within the sentence, or places, person, places, or things within the story. So that's kind of where the description comes in. And when that happens, we want to be really careful that we're giving the children freedom to add to the story and make it better, while at the same time reminding them that they are not amplifying. They're not to be introducing 5 new characters or a walk, down the road to visit Aunt Sally and her cousin Mike. We're not doing that. It's taking what's already there and making it more descriptive and better, but still keeping within the structure of the plot and not going, off on different tangents where by the end of the story we've flown to France and back again, even though that had nothing to do with the dog and his reflection in the woods. So I hope that clears things up. Sometimes the kids get a little bit frustrated in the beginning in 4th grade because they get their papers back and they think they've been so descriptive and they're super excited, but then there's a comment from me that says, this may not have been, a wise addition to the story because it just kind of takes me a little bit too far away from the original plot. So with that being said, sorry, my battery's dying. The very last step would be to revise and edit. And this is where I think a lot of times we think that the kids can just kind of go through it and do it themselves, but really we want to teach them to do it and to be good editors of their own papers and make revisions. But at the same time, this is where you have an important job. So I always look when the kids turn in their papers, I like to see that there are marks. We talk about that in class, that the more writing and marks that you have on your rough draft of the copy, the better, because that means that you're working to improve. So you are totally fine to give them suggestions, highlight things that maybe could be clarified, provide a way to have them enhance what they've already done. They may not like that at first, but it will become more natural. But then once that process is done, they're ready for their final copy. And when their final copy is turned in, it can be typed or it can be handwritten in blue or black ink. We ask that they double space it. That makes it easy for me to come back if I want to add comments. And obviously we just encourage them in that final copy to do their very best, that they're making, if they're handwriting it, they need to be making themselves aware of the margins of the paper and indenting for different paragraphs, making sure things like their name is on it. And in fact, even with these assignments at the end, it tells the exact order in which to place their work, because we want to teach them responsibility and understanding that there's a method to how things should be turned in a way that's more formal. When that is done, the Progyms will be collected, and for those of you that would like a grade and a feedback from me, I will use the rubric that is posted on Canvas on the home page under Writing and Composition, and I will go through and I will score the kids. If you would prefer that I don't do that I just make comments, that's totally fine. Just let me know and I can omit leaving a score, but For those of you that would like to see maybe how they measured up with a rubric, I am planning to provide that for you. So I think that that's it. That's pretty much the format of what it would look like. But if you have any questions, just let me know. All right, thanks so much.